Hello once again and welcome to History by Fire. Today's story is about an earthquake. Yeah, a big one a long time ago in a small country named Portugal. All right, people, let's dive into one of the wildest stories in history. On November 1st, 1755, Lisbon was forever changed. A massive earthquake followed by a deadly tsunami struck the heart of Portugal, leaving devastation in its wake. But this wasn't just a natural disaster, it was an event that shook not just the ground, but the very soul of Europe. So imagine it's November 1st, All Saints' Day, 1755. The streets of Lisbon are alive with people heading to church, dressed in their Sunday best, candles flickering in homes and chapels, the smell of incense thick in the air. But then out of nowhere, boom, the earth starts rumbling like some giant beast waking up from a deep sleep. And let me tell you, it wasn't just a little shake, this was the big one. Now, Lisbon was a bustling, beautiful city back then, sitting pretty right by the Atlantic with its grand buildings and narrow streets. But within minutes, all that started coming down like a house of cards. The first tremors hit around 9:40 a.m., and if you can believe it, they lasted for nearly 10 minutes. 10 long, terrifying minutes of the ground beneath people's feet, moving like it had a mind of its own. Folks ran out of their homes and churches, trying to make sense of what was happening. Some thought it was the end of the world. Heck, who wouldn't with the ground splitting open under you? Buildings crumbled, streets cracked wide open, and fires broke out all over the city, fueled by those very same candles that were supposed to be part of a holy day. It was chaos, pure and simple. And if that wasn't enough, the earthquake triggered something even worse, a massive tsunami. Now, I know you're thinking, surely that's it, right? The Earth's already knocked the stuffing out of them. What more could happen? But oh no, nature wasn't done yet. About 40 minutes after the shaking stopped, this gigantic wall of water came roaring in from the ocean. Picture it. You've just survived the worst quake you could imagine, and now you see the sea, your beloved Atlantic, pulling back like it's taking a deep breath, only to come surging forward like it's got a score to settle. The water rushed into the city, sweeping away everything in its path. People, debris, you name it. Some reports say the waves were up to 20 feet high. That's like a 2-story building coming at you full speed, folks. Can you even imagine? Now here's something to chew on. This wasn't just a physical disaster. It shook people to their core, spiritually and mentally. The 18th century was a time when folks were really getting into the Enlightenment, all about reason, science, and all that jazz. But here's this natural disaster that no one could explain. Why would a just God allow such a terrible thing to happen, and on All Saints' Day, no less? It messed with people's heads, big time. Take Voltaire, for instance. He wrote this biting piece of work called Candide in response to the quake, basically throwing shade at the idea that we live in the best of all possible worlds. I mean, how could this be the best when an entire city's been wiped off the map? Philosophers, theologians, regular folks, they were all grappling with these big, unanswerable questions. It was like the quake had opened up a fault line in the collective psyche, and everyone was just trying to find their footing again. Back in Lisbon, the situation was beyond grim. The city was in ruins. About 85% of the buildings were destroyed. Fires raged for days, fueled by all the wooden structures and the chaos left in the quake's wake. It's said that the heat was so intense that the stones themselves seemed to burn. People were homeless, injured, and scared out of their minds. The dead were everywhere, and there were so many bodies that burying them all was almost impossible. So they did what they had to do. Many were thrown into mass graves, while others were taken out to sea and dumped. It was a dark, dark time. But and here's the thing, people are resilient. You, me, anyone. We bounce back even from the worst stuff you can imagine. Enter Sebastião José de Carvalho e Melo, the Marquis of Pombal. Now this guy, he was a real go-getter. When King Joseph first asked him what to do, he's famously said to have replied, "Bury the dead and heal the living." No time for wallowing in despair, you see. Pombal took charge of the recovery and rebuilding efforts with a kind of ruthless efficiency that got things done. He knew they couldn't just rebuild the city as it was. They had to think bigger, better. And so Pombal and his team of engineers started planning a new Lisbon, one that could withstand future quakes. They introduced what's known as the Pombaline style of architecture, which wasn't just about looking good. These buildings were designed with anti-seismic features, an early form of earthquake-resistant construction, if you will. Can you believe that? Even back then, they were thinking about how to keep the city safe from another disaster. Talk about forward thinking. The new streets were laid out wider with buildings that were lower and sturdier. It wasn't just about safety. It was about creating a city that symbolized strength and resilience. Lisbon was going to rise from the ashes, quite literally, and show the world that it couldn't be knocked down that easily. And you know what? They pulled it off. The city became a model for urban planning with its grid layout and robust buildings. The Praça do Comércio, which stands today, was part of that grand vision, a space that was open, welcoming, and most importantly, strong. Now, let's not forget that while Lisbon was rebuilding, the aftershocks of the quake were felt all across Europe. Not just physically, the tremors were reportedly felt as far away as Finland, but also in the way people thought about nature, God, and human vulnerability. The Lisbon earthquake became a symbol, a kind of shorthand for disaster and tragedy, but also sparked a new way of thinking. People began to see that, hey, maybe we should be paying more attention to the natural world, studying it, understanding it, so we can be better prepared for whatever it throws our way. And here's the kicker. This wasn't just a European thing. News of the quake spread far and wide, reaching as far as the American colonies. It was one of the first truly global news events, thanks to the emerging print culture of the time. People around the world read about Lisbon, saw the drawings of the devastation, and felt connected in their shared humanity. It's like the quake shook the whole world awake, not just Lisbon. So there you have it, my friends. The story of the 1755 Lisbon earthquake, a disaster that was as much about human spirit as it was about the raw power of nature. It's a reminder, if we ever needed one, that we're all just visitors on this planet, and sometimes it's going to remind us who's boss. But it's also a testament to our ability to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and build something even better. Because at the end of the day, that's what we do. We endure, we learn, and we move forward. And if Lisbon could come back from something like that, well, there's hope for the rest of us too. Hope you enjoyed the story. If so, please subscribe to History by Fire, share with your friends, and until the next one, stay safe and stay happy. Thank you so much.